told me to go check.
Okay, and I was thinking that was Alan.
What's that?
I thought that was Alan.
Okay, okay. That's what I was thinking too. But sometimes Nancy doesn't email, but she comes to the speech, so
That's all right.
let's see if it's her kind of turn. No, she's supposed to be WAG. So I saw she read.
Here, all those manuals, I kept the one for you.
Okay.
And then they sent along a new copy of the rule book.
Oh, okay.
Here's the cover letter.
So can you make officers next Wednesday, or next Thursday, I mean?
Next Thursday. That would be the 19th.
Or, yes, it would, no, it'd be the 18th.
18th. Yes, I can.
Okay, downtown,
Downtown?
officers, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You wanna hang,
I'm sure I'd be glad to. I've got.
okay, here's the cover letter.
All right.
It was that wrinkled when I got it.
That's okay. I may hand that off to Donna. Thank you.
No, it's Alan that's seated tomorrow.
Okay, and Alan has a speech, we think.
Okay.
Hello, Mark.
Hi, Pete.
Welcome.
Thank you, sir.
Sit right there.
Yes, ma'am.
You're welcome, ma'am.
Donnie, you're our Toastmaster?
I didn't know if the word of the day man would show up or not, so I did, I had this made up for another meeting,
Thank you.
so.
So
If
Donna.
Nancy
call
doesn't
on you.
show, hey, George, if Nancy doesn't show, she is actually the WAG. When
No,
Nancy comes in,
Montana.
talk to her.
Say, Matt, who's gonna be a speaker today?
I am, and Alan is at least.
I think that's
Sometimes we get surprises, but those are the ones we know of.
And how long is your speech?
I think it's, let me just check, it's 3 to 5. And then for business, I've got ballots and non-voting committee results.
There's nobody else I'm supposed to fill out. Yes,
Or
that's.
you can do it. Okay, that's
So
good.
this is yours?
And when you want to do that, during the beginning?
Probably at the beginning, so how much time you have left to finish the meeting.
Okay,
Yeah. It shouldn't take real long.
okay.
Well, knock on wood.
Not gonna move it yet.
Oh, yeah. Knock on wood.
All right. so we might not-
I don't know what time it is. You have the time, George?
Do you have an evaluator yet?
I don't. Is George already evaluating someone?
George's role here is fair game.
Yeah.
Would you like to do an evaluation on Pete? No, Pete.
Okay. Yeah, I'd love that.
Okay. And then the other speaker is Alan.
Alan, and I don't know what speech he's given. I think we'll just call this, Virginia. And she's been warned.
I can do an evaluation for Alan.
Okay.
I'm GE, but that's not really putting out too.
All right. Well, if I give the first speech, I could do his 2, then you wouldn't have to double up.
Well,
Why don't I?
let me go ahead and give an evaluation.
You want
I
to?
haven't done one for a while.
Okay.
So I need to keep sharp.
All righty.
Attempt to keep sharp.
Okay, well, I think we're scheduled and
All right.
it's time.
And who's the speakers?
Alan and myself.
And Mark, we might have you be WAG if no Nancy doesn't show up.
Okay.
Okay, was that church or church?
I'm GE.
Yep.
And I will cover, there's Alan.
Alan? Hey.
I'll be your evaluator, Alan.
Okay.
And how long is your speech, Alan?
8 to 10. Oh, perfect.
And you're 3 to 5.
I'm 3 to 5.
And do you still want to go first?
Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Yeah. Whatever you like.
Alan, do you have a preference as far as if you're first or second speaker?
Second would be best for me, thank you.
So I'll stick with first, then I can maybe do other jobs if needed.
Easy story.
Mark gonna be our timer and our WAG?
Yeah, Mark can do the word. at
It's,
least, and
we
maybe
can
I'll
start.
help out with- with
Okay.
Verizon grammars.
Oh, I'm sure appreciate it.
Yeah,
Okay.
bring your timing. thing.
Oh, really? Yes. I have,
I can get an agent.
I'm not appreciate the help. Can
You're
I
fine.
give those to you?
Yeah, I can,
Oh, yeah. Wow,
Well,
there
you're
must
gonna
be a-
get 'em.
There must be a story on how you,
There is. Okay, I'll tell you
all
later.
right, sounds good, thank you.
Green lights. Oh, no,
You're
yellow
looking good. Are
light.
you running for city council? No. Okay.
I'll let you be for
the red one's burned out.
Is it? Or do it needs a little twist?
Good afternoon, fellow Toastmasters. I've been gone for a couple of weeks, so I kind of feel like I'm in the dark, but we'll work through this. Let's all rise and pledge, please. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And while we're standing, let's do the vision. Say we have the vision of the Toastmasters.
Toastmasters International empowers people to achieve their full potential and realize their dreams. Through our member clubs, people throughout the world can improve their communication and leadership skills and find the courage to change.
Well, thank you, that was kind of nice doing the vision. I always like the mission, but the mission is very good too. Thanks, Ron. Jim, do you have any business to share with us?
The only thing I have, and I turned it over to Pete, is I did receive the manuals for the new officers incoming.
Okay.
And would just report that one of the lady who has coordinated the Fab 5 program this last year had surgery on her throat yesterday, came out very well. She will have a little deeper tone of voice, but she's a French-speaking, English definitely is her second language. Joanne LeBeau is her name, and she lives in Boston. But anyway, she's recuperating well.
Well, good, thank you. Pete, business, what do you have to add?
Thank you. As chair of the nominating committee this year, I have the ballot for our next 6 months. And we're fortunate that Donna has both agreed to be president and is eligible to be president again this time. And I am still looking forward to being your scheduler and all that goes along with that. And George is going to tackle PR for us for the next 6 months. And Peggy said she would help out informally. So George has got a great mentor between Peggy and myself there. VP for membership, we still do not have a person. There's been a couple of people nominated, but they've not replied. So we are going to go ahead and hold that one open for now, but maybe like that on an interim basis or again in 6 months. And then Jim thankfully has agreed to continue as secretary and Alan as treasurer. So that's our ballot with Donna president, me VP Ed, George VP PR, Jim secretary, and Alan treasurer. Would you like to vote ballots, or would you like to cast a single ballot for a unanimous vote? What's your preference? Jim usually says that, so I may have said it wrong.
Well, I'd suggest unanimous vote.
Yeah, right now.
Is that a motion?
Yes,
We'll cast unanimous ballot for the slate of officers not,
yes, I'd like to
Presented.
cast unanimous vote for officers that Bruce, Pete has outlined here, so.
and that's I have a second to the nomination.
Oh my goodness, and I forgot to type in before we do, okay, so the motion is officers for the next 6 months, and our president points out that I forgot, Nancy has agreed to be sergeant of arms
Oh,
as well, so we are really looking forward to working together with her, the crack team that comes down 15 minutes before the meeting and sets up. There's about 3 or 4 of us, yes.
Pete, I wanted to ask you what a PR is.
Oh, good. So that's, public relations.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. So,
Okay.
you know, occasional article in the newspaper, maybe in the club notes, Peggy will help us with that because she's a PR professional. Thank you, Mark.
Yeah, okay.
So we have a motion. Is there any discussion before we vote? Let's call for the question then. And I'll turn control back to Donna.
We don't vote then?
So vote. Yeah, that's a calling the question means we vote.
All in favor, say aye.
All in favor? Say aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Opposed?
No.
Nay.
Well, the motion has been made, it has been approved, that we will cast a unanimous vote for the officers as Pete has listed. Donna as president, Pete as VP education, George with Peggy's assistant as PR, public relations, secretary, Jim, treasurer, Alan, and sergeant at arms, Nancy. All right. Thank you. And I believe we have a guest. Hi, I'm Donna, and your name?
My name's Lainey
What's your last name, Lee?
Nichols.
Well, welcome. Is this your first attendance at a Toastmasters meeting?
Mhm.
Well, good. What brought you to our meeting today?
Just to see what it was like.
Well, good. And do you work here in the hospital?
No.
Oh, well, tell us a little bit about you.
I work at Justice Court, and when I used to do speech and debate many more years back than I'll admit, and I thought maybe it might get me connected to the community and myself. And
Well, good. Well, we're glad you're here. And now would I think be a good time we can go around the room and just tell you a little bit about us. I'm Donna Emmett. I work at Edward Jones. I came to Toastmasters just to get better at standing in front of a group, and I hope it's working. George, you want to tell me a little bit about you?
I'm George Scarrett, a retired teacher, and summer I'm a Hale adjuster, and so long ago I joined, I can't remember what.
Alan?
Hi, I'm Alan Rubes. I have been a Toastmasters for, this is my 9th year now. And the reason I joined was so I could be able to speak more comfortably amongst people. And I'll tell Lainey that this is probably, you've got the hard part over attending your first meeting. Everything from now on is a piece of cake. So welcome.
Nancy?
I'm Nancy Korb. I work at Glendive Medical Center. I'm the purchasing supervisor, and I joined Toastmasters because I just love to learn new things.
As you know, I'm Pete Bruno, and years ago I specialized in treating trauma and was asked to speak at a big convention and tell people about treating trauma, and gave the most boring speech I ever heard, and immediately came back to Glendive and joined Toastmasters. Plus, fellow Toastmasters, I can tell you Lainey's very good at her job. Mark?
My name is Mark Nelson, and the way I got involved with Toastmasters was I met a nice looking blonde that had just recently moved to Glendive, and her name was Radine Heppel, and she became my mentor, but she invited me to come to Toastmasters, and not only did she invite me, she became my it's suggested in the manual that we have, have a mentor, say, for about 3 months, and then, we got to show some, initiative on our own or so on. But the mentor is always there to answer your questions and everything. But I was, I really turned over kind of a new leaf because I started being more honest about my feelings, and so as, I don't know how you say it, as a follower of a mentor, she'd say jump and I'd say how high and everything. So, but yeah, she's one thing else I want to mention is that she was really advanced in the Toastmaster system As a matter of fact, she was on the verge of getting her DTM, which stands for Distinguished Toastmasters, but DTM, I forgot. Award, DTM, Distinguished Toastmaster. Oh, Master, yeah, that stands for the M in Toastmaster.
All right, thank
She
you,
was, yeah, okay, I didn't mean to talk so
Nope,
long,
that's
but,
fine. Virginia?
yeah, so, I mean, she was a good mentor in ways.
I'm Virginia Sayes, and I've been a member here since 2005, so for 10 years. And the first they asked me to do here was to be secretary. But I did that the first section, I don't know if it was just 6 months or a whole year, but then after that I said I would rather be a sergeant at arms. So they put me in as a sergeant at arms up until this time when they just got Nancy. Because I don't know if I'm gonna be around this, I don't know, because both of my daughters have moved. One's in Washington State, the other's in Nebraska. So I don't know how long God will want me to stay here without them, without anybody, family members. So, but I've enjoyed Toastmasters and I've learned good things here, and I'm sure you will too.
Lastly, Jim?
Jim Squires, a retired farmer and educator and sometimes politician. I have been involved in Toastmasters for I'm thinking about 13 years out of the last 23 years. We had a hiatus of 10 years where we didn't have a club locally. Served in all of the offices with maybe one or two exceptions. I've served as an area governor twice, normally attend conventions, and I've used these skills extensively and for about 14 hours on Monday and Tuesday. So these are skills that are very valuable for me.
Thank you, Jim. As you can see, we have a very diverse group of people and reasons for being here. But I know I speak for everyone when we say welcome. We're glad you came to a meeting. And there's a guest book that we'll have you sign before you leave, and you can put your email address on there. Pete is wonderful for sending out emails as far as when the next meeting is, which we always meet the second and fourth Thursday of every month here. And then Jim puts out wonderful detailed notes of our meetings, and it is very enjoyable. So feel free to ask questions, and we encourage you to come back on the fourth Thursday. All right. Jim Squires is our general evaluator today. Jim, would you like to tell us about your team?
Yes, we have two speeches today, and those who will be doing the evaluation first, Pete will be evaluated by George on a 3 to 5 minute speech. And then our second speaker will be Alan, who is doing Read a Story from one of the advanced manuals called Interpretive Reading. And that is a 8 to 10 minute, I believe. And so I believe my team is prepared, and at the appropriate time, we will proceed with evaluations.
Sounds good. And our WAG, Nancy, do you have a word for us today?
Yes, I do.
Okay, if you want to come up and tell us our word, I'd appreciate it.
Our word of the day is bellwether. Bellwether is a noun, and it's one that takes a lead or initiative, a leader, an indicator of trends. The company has been viewed as a bellwether for the tech market, so analysts are watching it closely. And the word again is bellwether.
Thank you, Nancy. Bellwether. Our first speaker today is Pete Bruno. Pete will be giving a 3 to 5 minute speech where he roasts Virginia. Please help me welcome Pete Bruno.
Thank you very much. Before you start the timing, I want to remind everyone that Jim and Alan and I went down to KXGN and did a Let's Talk About It, which is going to air this Sunday. And during that time, so that you don't miss the moment, Dorothy says, "You've been in Toastmasters 25 years. Haven't you got it yet?" But like George, we keep coming for the fun of it. Okay, fellow Toastmasters, it is my pleasure on Virginia's anticipated farewell, even if she doesn't go, it's my pleasure to roast Virginia. She just mentioned kind of the title or the big concept of this roast when she said, "I don't know where God is going to send me." Because Virginia, for her whole life, has been all about going where God sends her. Now, you know these things about Virginia. I don't think it's just because of Toastmasters, but she is an incomparable storyteller. And you think you've got to the end of the story, and oh no, you haven't got to the end of the story, because there's even a better sequel or a kicker at the end of the story. So she's a where God sends me person, excellent storyteller with a kicker, and a humorist. Most of her stories are designed to go ahead and to get you to appreciate human nature and the fun side of life. Many times, fellow Toastmasters, Virginia has told us about when she was younger, she would be involved with the church, and the church would every year do a survey of a person's spiritual gifts. What are your God-given talents? And time after time, she'd feel as though she had failed the test. Even though they're just inventories and not actually tests, she would feel as though this is not fitting me. And finally, didn't you, Virginia? Finally, you said, "I know what I am. I found my verse in the Bible. I am here to help." Here to help. Go where God sends her. Humorist, helper, and there's one other important rule. Not only does she choose to see the good in everybody, but she also strives to go ahead and never laugh at anyone of us, no matter how ridiculous we might behave, but to rather laugh with us. So I want to end with one of her better stories. And just to give you a flavor of this lady who goes where God sends her, who's an excellent storyteller, a humorist, a helper, and someone who likes to laugh with people. So she's up here in this facility to visit someone. And one of the workers sees her coming, and she's still going down the hall to get to where she's going to visit. Every once in a while, he lifts up his head, just waits till she's close enough till only she can hear, and says, "Here comes trouble." Now, what would
That was double trouble.
No, not yet. We're only the first one. And I'm at the very beginning of the story. Yeah, and so here comes trouble. And so, how would you respond to that, fellow Toastmaster? She, the humorist who likes to laugh with people, says, "Oh, what a great name. I've never been given that one before. Thank you," and keeps right on going. So the next time she sees this individual, the same kind of routine, but now it's not in this facility, it's out and about in public. And again, this time he says, "Here comes double trouble." And she handles that equally as well, has a great time with it. And then he says, and here's the point of the story, and then he says, well, if double trouble is such a good thing to you, I must be triple trouble. So now we have Virginia going where God sends her, storyteller, humorist, helper, and someone who laughs appropriately. Virginia say, if God takes you out of this community, we will miss you. Fellow Toastmasters.
Thank you, Pete. Yes, we will definitely miss Virginia, and we will enjoy you as long as we can. Our second speaker is Alan Rubes, and he will be giving a speech each 10 minutes. Today, Alan will be giving a speech from his Advanced Communicator Interpretive Reading Manual. He will be reading a story and strive to maintain the audience interest through the use of vocal variety, such as tempo, rhythm, inflection, and pauses to convey the story's emotions and actions. The title of Alan's speech is A Boy, a Picnic, and a Pie-Eating Race. The speech should last from 8 to 10 minutes. Please help me welcome Alan Rubes.
Thank you, Donna, for that wonderful introduction. Your check is in the mail. You should get it hopefully by the weekend. So, the book I'm going to be reading from is pretty worn and has seen a lot of use. I've had this book for over 50 years. Probably one of the first books that I ever got I got that from when we were in school, we'd get to order books of publication out of the American Scholastic Service, and I got this one. Title is Hooray for Henry. And although it's very simplistic in its words and pictures, things of that nature, Henry has a real tough time with things, and I'm going to try to portray those issues that Henry has to go through. Everybody loves a picnic, so today is the day of the big picnic. Everyone is having fun. Say, look at all that food, Henry. Come on, Henry, let's eat. Henry says, not now. I'm going to run a race first. Look at all those prizes. This is the water race. 1, 2, 3, go. Everybody has a glass of water placed on the top of their head, and they're supposed to balance it all the way to the finish line. Run, Henry, run. Faster, faster, Henry. Too fast. No prize for Henry. Another friend comes to him and says, come on, Henry, let's eat. Not now. I'm going to run a bag race. I'm going to win a prize. This is the bag race with one of his other friends. 1, 2, 3, go. Hop, Henry, hop. Faster, faster. Too fast. They ended up falling on the ground and didn't win the race. No prize for Henry. A little girl comes up to Henry and says, hey, Henry, look at this. Want one? There's a hot dog. Everybody loves hot dogs. Not me. I want to win a prize. I'm going to run the egg race. This is the egg race. Balancing an egg on a spoon and running to the finish line. 1, 2, 3, go. Run, Henry, run! Faster, faster! Ends up spilling the egg. Too fast. No prize for Henry. Again. Here, Henry, eat this ice cream cone. Not now. I'm going to run the peanut race. I must win a prize. This is the peanut race where they push a peanut on the ground. 1, 2, 3, go! Well, push, Henry, push! Faster, faster! Too fast, ends up pushing the peanut nose, misses pushing it on his nose. No prize for Henry again. Come on, Henry, let's eat some watermelon. Not now. I'm going to try the balloon race. I must win a prize. This is the balloon race where they try to blow up balloons. 1, 2, 3, blow! Blow, Henry, blow! Faster, faster! Too fast. Pops the balloon. No prize for Henry. By now, Henry's pretty disgusted. I give up. Now, let's eat. There's nothing to eat. Everybody's eating all the food. Henry said, no prize, no food. What a picnic. I'm going home. Somebody says, one more race. Come on, everyone. Get in the pie race. I can't eat a pie. I'm too full. We can't eat a pie. But Henry says, I can eat a pie. This is the pie race. There's only 2 other people involved. 1, 2, 3, go! Eat, Henry, eat! Faster, faster! Henry finishes the pie before everybody else. He wins the race. He wins the grand prize of a crown. Wow, Henry said, with pie on his face. What a picnic. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan, for sharing such a wonderful story and appropriate for summertime. And I appreciate the fact that it's from a book that you've had for 50 years. That's wonderful. Thank you. Table topics. Virginia, you're our table topics master today.
Should I be?
You should be. Do you have any topics? If not, we have our.
I know, I need some of those are the ones I.
Okay. You can grab those.
But, I have a question to ask.
Yeah.
You want me to come up there?
Wherever you want to be.
Well, I'll get those in case I need them first. Where are they? Here they are.
And while we're thinking about it, we can go ahead and start working on our ballots for best speaker, and then later on we'll do best table topics and best speech evaluator. Virginia Say, our table topics master.
Okay. Well, let's see. I think I'll ask this to Pete. Pete, what's the best thing you can remember that you did in your lifetime?
Just before you start the clock, so we're supposed to speak for about a minute on these table topics, kind of like in Talk To and fellow Toastmasters. Both the best and the smartest thing I've done in my whole life has been marrying Corky. Now let me tell you why. She's cute. She's intelligent. She is extremely good with young kids, which makes her not only a fantastic mother, but also a gorgeous and great grandmother. In fact, she retired a whole year early so she can take care of our grandchildren. So kind of like when George brought his granddaughter last time, and she won table topics. What I like to say in parenting classes or seminars that I give when I get to grandparenting is grandparenting can be fun. So who would blame her for retiring? But how did I ever convince her to marry me? I will never know, except to say I've been truly blessed.
Okay. Let's see, what's your name again?
Lainey?
Lainey, yeah. Lainey, can you think of the worst thing you've ever done in your life?
The worst thing I've done. Are we being honest
Well,
here?
you may know something of something bad that you did even as a child, whatever.
Oh, goodness. I just stand up. Is there somebody that times it, that like kind of
Yes.
counts it?
And don't worry about your time this time. So any mistake will do,
Any mistake?
even a made up one.
All right. Well, working at justice court, we deal with really important papers that affect people's lives, and if you screw up, you could get them in jail, or I guess not worse. We're not that strict. We don't do executions or anything. But there was a speeding ticket one time, and at the end of the day, I'm doing my accounting work, and $20 short. Oh no, where is this $20? And I go, maybe it's still in the envelope that I threw in the garbage. So I'm looking through the garbage and the envelopes and tipping them upside down, and I can't find it there. And then I'm like, oh no, the shredder. So I take off the lid for the shredder, and I am looking for colored papers of dollars that I can fit together, and there's just a big mess all over, and my heart's racing that this person, they're gonna have some kind of a warrant for their arrest because I can't find their money, or I'm gonna lose my job because maybe I stole it because it's not there. And then right as the papers are all over the floor, and then this check just kind of comes out from under the desk, just flew with the little wind, and it wasn't in the garbage and it wasn't in the shredder. It just got blown around, and it wasn't the worst thing that I'd ever done, but for a minute it was.
Okay, I got two more questions to ask, and it's the opposites of what I've asked them to do. So what's the best thing that anyone's ever done to you in your lifetime, Nancy?
The best thing I think that anybody has ever done for me is when I was in high school, we had something called DECA. This is where you actually work and you go to school at the same time. Well, that's actually how I first got this job here at the hospital, was through DECA. Mr. Berger, who lived next door to us, suggested, oh, why don't you take this class in school? Well, I never ever thought about taking that class until he actually came along. And he said, go for it, do it. So I signed up for the class, and I wasn't really expecting an awful lot or nothing really great out of it. But yet, at the same time, I had another teacher who said, you'd be perfect for this job up at the hospital. So he got me onto the hospital, and I've been working here ever since. So that's probably one of the best things that has ever happened.
Okay, George, I'll ask you to do the next one. What's the worst thing you've ever done in your lifetime? That's a bad question, isn't it?
fellow Toastmasters and guests, tabletop master. The worst thing I've ever done in my life. Now, I've lived quite a while, so that could be many things, I guess. And trying to pull out the worst one. I suppose, I can't think of a specific time, but there has been times in my life where I probably regret maybe when I was younger that maybe I didn't respect somebody else. And maybe, I don't know if you call it bullying or whatever, but there's always that crowd mentality. Maybe you didn't stick up for somebody you should have stuck up for. And I think people are aware of that, or they're getting people to become aware of that. But I would say probably that would be the situation I'd look at. Maybe not one instance, but times in my life when I was not respectful of somebody else.
All right, thank you, Virginia, for those very challenging table topics. Boy, I was glad I didn't get that one. All right, so let's do our ballots for speaker and table topics and pass those to Virginia. And then Jim Squires, I'll let you call on your team as far as evaluation.
Thank you, Donna.
Thank you, Jim.
Our first evaluation of Pete's speech will be done by George Garrett. When you're ready, George. George Garrett.
Fellow Toastmasters and our guests, and especially Pete. I'm evaluating what we call a roast. And we haven't had very many of those speeches. I know I've never evaluated them. So it's a new experience for me. We have some questions here, and tell them how well did the jokes and the anecdotes adapt to the occasion of the individual being roasted. I think I'd have to say they adapted well. How the speaker's delivery contribute or hinder the effectiveness of the humorous material. Well, one thing about Pete, we can depend on a lot of good qualities in giving a speech, no matter if he's reading the Sears Roebuck catalog. I think he could have us all in the palm of his hand. He has good gestures, good voice quality, and has everybody captivated. They all are paying attention. Were the jokes and anecdotes effective? Yes, I think the little story he told about Virginia kind of describes how Virginia is and how we think of her. The speaker's body language and vocal variety had the impact of roast. Had very good hand gestures, good rate, good eye contact, and all of the things that you learned in Toastmasters he did carry through in the speech. What could the speaker have done differently to make the speech more effective? Well, when I think of roast, I think of Don Rickles and Dean Martin and things like this. And this is not exactly the type. The only thing I can think of is find somebody else who has more faults. Virginia doesn't have enough. So that would be what that is. And what did I like about it? I said good delivery. That was helps. Thank you.
I'm the one who is evaluating Alan for his A Boy, a Picnic, and a Pie-Eating Race. I liked it. I really did. One of the questions asked of me is, was the theme of the storyline clear? Obviously, whatever this young boy did, and I didn't pick up on his name, and I don't know what.
Henry?
Henry, of course it's Henry. But Henry couldn't do anything well. He spilled the water. He whatever race, it just didn't work out. But those who had eaten, obviously, and were well filled, when it came to pie eating, man, he won both ways, didn't he? So it's a very clever and cute little story, and I can see why a person would keep that for over 50 years. And I'm sure that your daughter has heard this story on more than one occasion, and that's good. And hopefully in the next 10 years, she will bless you with a grandchild, and you'll be able to share it again. Alan, I don't know whether you were more nervous than normal, but obviously you had some troubles, with the pages and so on. Hey, we know you, and I look past that. I notice it. Other people may notice it. I've noticed that something in my family, when we reach 65, we can't hold our hands still. And so there's something there that, you know, we're aware of. And I commend you for being able to do what you did. Didn't draw attention to it. Maybe I'm drawing too much attention to it, but you handled that extremely well, sir, and I commend you for that. Your eye contact and your gestures were spot on. You were doing a reading, but at the same time, you stole those moments to make eye contact very effectively. The voice, the vocal variety, and the change, I could tell when you were reading, and I can tell when you were ad-libbing. And I could tell when, because the voice changed, the sound, the level, the emphasis that you put into your voice was very much appreciated. Great vocal variety. The introduction you provided and that Donna read was brief, but it was effective. Were you spontaneous? I think you were very spontaneous. And I really appreciated this speech. Suggestions? I really don't have a suggestion, and other than just keep doing what you're doing, sir. That concludes my evaluation of of Alan's reading. I would move on then to our WAG, Nancy, Word of the Day, O'Connor Marion. Could you report on those things that you have observed during the meeting?
Actually, I did not notice that anybody used the word of the day, bellwether. I did not really notice any awes, tell you the truth, at all today, which I was surprised. Maybe I just was so intent in listening that I didn't count any. I don't know. But I thought everybody did a great job with the language and their wording.
Okay, thank you, Nancy. Are you prepared to give a timing report?
Well, yeah, pretty much.
Okay,
See,
go ahead and give us a timing report if you would, Mark.
I got one more thing to write down here. 146. Yeah, you folks all might have a sit down. I was gonna
Times for Pete now.
oh yeah, okay. Speaker number one was Pete, and Pete spoke for 5 minutes and 5 seconds. Speaker number 2 was Alan, and Alan spoke for 6 minutes and 20 seconds. And table topics, Pete spoke for 52 seconds. George Garrett spoke for 49 seconds. And Lene Nichols, our guest, she spoke for 1 minute and 30 seconds. And Nancy Korb spoke for 48 seconds.
Evaluation?
Yeah, and Jim Squire's evaluation of Alan was 1 minute and 47 seconds. And
George, for Pete.
I'm sorry, I just can't seem to find it.
Okay, well, you can get it to me later. Thank you, Mark.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay, evaluations time, WAG. My general evaluation of the meeting, we've had another successful meeting. I really appreciate our guests being so bold and brave to participate in table topics. It's always a challenge, isn't it? And it's the first time somebody tells you that and asks you a question, the hardest thing you could ever do or worst thing you ever did Wow, what a challenging question. The questions were interesting. I'll use a euphemism for instead of what I was really thinking there. This is probably a typical meeting. We've had good participation. Everybody has had some opportunity to speak, and so our rule of every meeting everybody speaks has been adhered to. I have no other comments that I want to make, and I'll turn it back over to our Toastmaster today, Donna, who is very capable. Thank you.
Virginia, do we have a tally for best table topic, speaker, and evaluator?
Best speaker Pete,
Hey.
and best table topic,
Oh, yeah, Pete.
Double winner.
and George is the best evaluator.
Yay.
Good job, George. When Nancy was giving the WAG report, she said she was surprised that there were no odds. And I don't know if she was surprised because it was Pete and Alan, our front runners for the Oz. I thought that was funny. Next week, we will have officers training at Pete's office downtown in the Prairie Development Center. So all of the officers will meet next Thursday at Pete's. And then our next club meeting will be the 25th, and that will be here at Glendon Medical Center at noon for our fourth Thursday meeting. And Lainey, again, thank you for coming. We're glad you came to a meeting, and we'll get the guest book out for you to sign. Do you have any questions for us? No. Did you enjoy your meeting?
I did.
You were thrown into the table topics? Well, you did wonderful. Very good. So, do we have anything else to add? All right, we'll call that a meeting. All right, thank you.
Good.
Say, Pete, I was gonna ask you a question. If the speaker speaks for 10, or asks for 10 minutes,